played any of the All the Mods packs at all, then you probably understand, or at least should understand, how important autocrafting is to progressing at all within these mod packs. It is the one single thing that can save you a ridiculous amount of time. And the faster your autocrafting setup is, the more time you're able to save. I'll be the first to admit that I only upgraded to this setup really late into All the Mods 10. I probably should have and could have upgraded a lot earlier, however I did not. And to be quite frank with you, I regret it. The setup that I'm going to be showing you today is ridiculously fast. Now, to be clear, there are other videos out there on this setup, however, none of them really break it down and show you exactly how to set it up and exactly what you need in order to make it work. So that's exactly what I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to show you a gigantic list of everything you need for the Quantum Crafter and the Assembler Matrix, and then I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do in order to piece them together. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get into it. All right, before we get too far into this is what we're making here. In the middle, you have my ME controller. It's got a whole bunch of wireless connectors on it going out to different parts of my base. But the two pieces we're making is this quantum computer structure and this assembler matrix. Now, the quantum computer structure has one outside block, and that are these structure blocks. The assembler matrix has two. It has these frames and then the actual walls themselves. Because of this, the numbers are a little different for each of them, and there's also different blocks that go on the inside of each of them. Keep in mind, this is not a video on how to set up an ME system, so already have an ME controller and then have some way to connect the assembler matrix and the quantum computer to your ME controller prior to setting these two up. All right, I'm going to switch over to a build world and let's get to it. All right, so the first multi-block we're going to be making is called the quantum computer. And this is what's actually going to do the processing for all of your automated crafts that you have set up. So in order to make this, we're going to need everything that we have here. To start off with like the single blocks that you need, you're going to need a quantum data entangler, a quantum computer multi-threader, a quantum computer core, quantum computer storage. I would highly recommend, if you're making the best one, which is this one, do the 256 million one. It's twice the size of the one before it and worth it. Then you're going to need 121 quantum computer accelerators and 218 quantum computer structures. So I'm going to run that list on the other side of the screen for you so that you can see it. Stop it, pause it, take a screenshot of it, whatever you need to do so that you have all of these blocks right here. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab all of our structure blocks. We're going to take these and we're going to set these out in a 7 by 7. So this right here is the grid we're going for. It needs to be 7 by 7 by 7. Now, for some of this, you can't, but for some parts of this, it makes it a lot easier if you use a building stick. So if you have one of those, you can sort of just walk this whole thing around. But there are parts where you can't do that. Otherwise, it'll extend the entire face. And we just need the outside of this completely filled in. Now, we are going to need to fill in the top as well. However, we're also going to need some way to actually get in here. So we're going to leave a little bit open so that way we can still get in and out in order to put the rest of the blocks in there. So next up, grab basically every other block that we needed. And the beautiful thing about this multi-block is it does not matter where in here these blocks go. So we're going to make sure to put one of these down. Of the 4 blocks that we just need one of, which is the quantum computer core, the multi-threader, the storage, and the entangler. And then the rest of this entire room gets filled up with these quantum computer accelerators. So this right here is where this netherite stick comes in really handy, because it can just fill this whole thing up very quickly. So once you get to the top, don't forget to finish closing this off. So fill the rest of it in, and then you'll see it turns into its multi-block structure, has some cool lines around the outside. It's pretty cool, honestly. Now, like we talked about, you're going to need an ME system already set up to plug this into. Don't forget to plug it in. It looks pretty cool once it's actually been set up and is turned on and powered. So that's the quantum computer. All right, next up, to go with the quantum computer structure, we're going to be making the assembler matrix, which is basically just some of those assembler blocks from AE. It's just a multi-block. It's 7 by 7, just like this, and it allows you to put a ridiculous number of patterns in there, and they're able to be accessed and crafted incredibly quickly. So to set this up, you're going to need everything we see in here. You're going to need 68 assembler matrix frames. You're going to need 150 assembler matrix walls. You're going to need 60 matrix pattern cores, 60 matrix craft cores, and then 5 matrix speed cores. Again, we're going to put that list over there on the side so that you can pause it and screenshot it. But I'm going to go ahead and show you how to put this together. So for the outside, for the frame, we're going to need to use these matrix frames. Again, like last time, in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 by 7 square. Only this time, the outside walls are not all the same. For each of the edges, you're going to need to use these assembler matrix frames. And so at the end of it, when you use the last of your frames, it should look just like this. Now from there, we're going to use these assembler matrix walls, and we're going to come in here and we're going to set up all of these in between the frames that we just set up. Again, you need 150 of these matrix walls. Now, when I was building this the first time, the one thing that threw me for a loop is I was building this basically on the ceiling of my base that I showed you guys earlier. And I totally forgot to fill in the top. And so I spent several minutes trying to figure out what the heck I did wrong because it just wasn't working correctly. Only to get inside and realize that the top was completely open. So make sure that you fill in all of the sides. However, like last time, you're going to want to leave a small gap so that you can still get in and out so that we can finish setting up the rest of the blocks that go on the inside. All right, so you're going to need one more assembler matrix wall after this, but now we're going to need the 60 pattern cores, 60 craft cores, and 5 speed cores. Now, the reason that you're using these is because you can only have 5 speed cores, and then the max volume inside is only 120 more blocks, so you split that evenly between your craft cores and your pattern cores, so that way it's about as optimized as possible. Now, again, like the last one, does not matter where these blocks go. All you have to do is make sure you don't have more than 5 of the speed cores, and then you do 60 of the craft cores and 60 of the pattern cores. So just make sure to fill this whole thing in, fill it in backwards, so that way as you work your way through this, you're not like blocking yourself in. And then once you're done, like we talked about, grab one more of those walls, fill in the last spot there. And this guy actually won't turn into a multi-block until you actually attach it. We're gonna grab our smart glass cables, just like we did with the last one, run it over here, plug it in, and then you'll see it actually turns on. It turns into this blue assembler matrix wall frames, and it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty nifty. But that right there, the combination of those two things is what allows you to have insanely fast autocrafting. I'm gonna switch back over to my world just to show you and sort of showcase how quick this actually is. All right, so this is what we were looking at earlier. Like we talked about, we now have our computer structure built and we have our assembler matrix built. If we go in here and we try to find some sort of an autocraft that's incredibly in-depth but just uses the resources that we have, I think the best one was the one I saw in Chosen's video where he tries to craft these Omega productivity upgrades. And the reason for that is because it uses a lot of different resources in order to make just one of these things. Like we're crafting up 2,400 emerald essence into these 267 emeralds that we need. There's a lot of crafts that go on, and usually these things would take 2 to 3 minutes to make a piece. All right, had to get some raw materials, but if we go back to those Omega upgrades and say I wanted to craft 20 of these, I start it and you'll see that it basically crafts those things instantly, like it's already done. Point being, would highly recommend making the quantum computer structure and the assembler matrix, so that way you can have incredibly fast autocrafts to support the rest of all the infrastructure that you're going to be setting up for all the mods 10. Don't do what I did. Don't wait as long as I did. Set it up early. If there's anything I missed in this video, anything you could do to improve on these two setups, or if there's a faster autocrafting setup that I'm not aware of yet, please leave those down in the comment section below. There's a lot of people that watch these videos to try to figure out how to improve their worlds in all the mods, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate all of the comments that you guys leave on my videos. But that's it for this one. Don't forget, you're special. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.